M5D UFO Files. Unraveling the UFO Files. Revelations that change everything.
The views and opinions expressed by individuals in the following program do not necessarily reflect those of the broadcaster or its parent company or affiliates.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. This is where we take your most intriguing sources, unpack them, and pull out the core knowledge, those surprising insights, and maybe a few aha moments. Today, our mission, if you will, is to embark on a deep dive into some truly unsettling personal accounts. These are stories that really blur the lines between, everyday reality and the utterly inexplicable. You've shared a really fascinating collection of narratives with us, stories about encounters that just defy logic. We're talking strange figures deep in the woods, unsettling presences invading familiar places. We're going to unpack these experiences. We'll look not just at the what happened, but also the how people react when they're faced with something truly unknown, and maybe the why, how culture shapes how we even see these things.
Absolutely. And what's really fascinating here is how these incidents, they seem so different, right? Yeah. Shared by individuals, continents apart, different situations, but they often tap into these really universal human fears and curiosities. Yet they're always filtered through these unique cultural lenses. So we'll explore the patterns that pop up, the psychological impact, which can be profound, and how these deep-seated cultural beliefs can fundamentally shape how we interpret something inexplicable. Which brings us to this big question, really, that runs through all these stories. When reality seems to just shift, defy logic, how do we make sense of it? Or even just cope? Let's dive in.
Okay, so we start our deep dive on Jeju Island. It's off the coast of South Korea. Beautiful place, volcanic landscapes, beaches, big tourist spot. But underneath that beauty, there's rougher history, a darker one. The dense forests there, they're steeped in memory, tragic events from World War II, and especially the Jeju uprising during the Korean War. Thousands killed. Awful stuff.
A really brutal period. And that collective trauma, it's almost woven into the land itself. Many locals, particularly the older generation, genuinely believe those forests are haunted by the spirits of the people who died there.
Right, it's not just a casual belief for them. So imagine deciding to set up camp deep in a place like that, in freezing winter conditions. Our narrator, Flash Hawk, and his father, they decided to push their luck. Camped near an abandoned YMCA center, middle of the island, miles from anywhere official, despite the brutal cold and, well, the island's grim reputation. So the first thing that shatters the peace, it's early morning, maybe 1 a.m. It had been raining, turned to snow, freezing, and it wasn't a scream or anything like that. It was a car alarm.
A car alarm. Yeah, they're blaring. In the middle of nowhere, deep in the supposedly haunted forest. I mean, that alone would make your heart jump, right?
Definitely jarring, out of place. The only logical thought is, okay, someone's messing with our car. Or maybe someone else is exploring the abandoned building nearby. So his dad, described as pragmatic, grabs a shovel, a pocket knife, brave man, and goes out into the icy dark to check. Turns out, it wasn't their car. But someone else had driven way out there, parked near this derelict building. But that wasn't the weirdest part. This led to them meeting a young woman, late 20s maybe. And what was immediately striking, besides just her being there, was how she was dressed. Or rather, underdressed, thin sweater, jeans, in below freezing snowy weather.
Just wrong. Instantly flags something is off, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Utterly baffling. An anomaly right from the start.
Exactly, and it gets weirder.
Okay, so what stands out here and really deepens the unease is how these subtle details start piling up. Things that resonate with local folklore. Apparently, the narrator's father had been talking to her for a bit before waking his son. Later, when the narrator told a Korean friend about this, the friend translated the woman's name.
Yeah, what did it mean?
Something like magic or witch cat. And the friend was very clear. This isn't just an unusual name. It's a name straight out of fairy tales or old legends, like meeting someone called Baba Yaga in the woods.
Wow. Okay, so that immediately puts it in a whole different context for someone from that culture.
Precisely. It's a signal. This might not be just a lost hiker. This could be something else. Maybe a dokaibi, one of those goblin spirits, or even a gumio, the shape-shifting fox spirit. The name itself is a huge red flag in that cultural context.
Okay, so beyond the name, the weirdness just kept coming. She mentions having a black cat wandering around.
Ah, the classic witch's familiar imagery. Potent symbol.
Right. Very cliche, but still effective, I guess. And then there's the firewood she was using. It was completely dry.
Despite raining and snowing all night.
Exactly. And she had a neat pile of extra dry wood ready to go. You could try to rationalize it. Maybe she prepared well. But given everything else, it feels off. Like, the normal rules didn't apply to her.
Suggests a kind of control over her surroundings that's unnatural.
Then she starts telling them stories. Weird ones. Disturbing. The narrator specifically remembers her proudly talking about cremating roadkill in the city, making a fire for it.
Okay, that's unsettling. Not just gross, but hints at a different relationship with, well, norms and death. Maybe ritualistic.
Could be. It just paints this picture of someone operating way outside conventional reality, a completely different perspective on life, death, the world.
And connecting this back, you see how the narrator and his father, faced with all this strangeness, naturally filter it through those local legends they know. They eventually packed up, understandably, wanted to get out of there fast.
Right. So they're heading back to their car, driving away, and they notice her van is gone. But then, the final kicker, as they drive past the abandoned building again, they see a black cat with a bright red collar sitting right in the open doorway of the building. Clearly someone's pet, not feral. And the narrator swears as they looked at it, the cat deliberately bowed to them, like an acknowledgement, or maybe a dismissal.
It bowed. Wow. That final intelligent gesture.
Yeah. It cemented it for them. They were convinced the cat was the woman transformed. A witch, spirit, whatever.
It's a powerful example of how unexplained events, especially when they align so neatly with cultural stories, can make those stories feel intensely real. It blurs that line between belief and experience, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Makes you question how much our reality is shaped by those deep-seated tales. Okay, so from Jeju's forests, steeped in specific Korean folklore, we shift continents. We're going to the Redwood National and State Park in Northern California, another vast, majestic, but also deeply mysterious place. This story comes from James. He grew up on an Indian reservation near the Oregon border. This happened back in late 2009. Tough time for him, injured, out of work, struggling to support his family.
Difficult circumstances often precede these kinds of experiences, or at least make people more open to noticing them, perhaps.
Could be. So to make ends meet, he started picking bear grass and wild mushrooms, stuff that grows wild there, sold to florists, restaurants. Good money, apparently. But it means going miles deep into this incredibly thick, almost maze-like forest. Beautiful, sure, but isolated, potentially dangerous.
Easy to get lost.
Definitely. He went with his friend B, who's from Laos, and a couple, C from Cambodia and his wife, both with their own strong cultural beliefs about the land, too. They split up to cover more ground. James and B took the north side of this mountain area. C and his wife took the south, miles apart. So James recounts the first odd thing. Minor, maybe, but it sets the stage. He and B are picking bear grass in this sort of circular cliff area, steep drop below. Picking bear grass makes a very distinct sound, apparently, a ripping noise.
Right, pulling the leaves.
Yeah. So James would stop and listen for B, just to keep track of him in the trees. After about an hour, he hears that same ripping sound, loud and clear. But it's coming from hundreds of feet below where B was supposed to be. An impossible distance for B to cover that fast. B was fit, late 60s, but fast, but not that fast.
Okay, so an auditory anomaly. Something doesn't add up.
Exactly. Then, as James is heading back up towards the truck, this large bush, tall as him, he's 6'1", starts shaking violently right in front of him.
Just shaking on its own. No wind.
No wind, nothing. And James, having grown up there, knows the forest, knows the animals. He said with total certainty, no bear, no mountain lion.
Chilling. Just unnatural movement.
Yeah. And his reaction is pure instinct. He drops everything, his bundles, his pack, and just runs. Runs towards where he last heard B yelling his name. Totally freaked out.
Understandable. And this is where B's perspective comes in, right? The cultural explanation.
Precisely. This introduces that crucial cultural layer through B from Laos. James, spooked and frustrated, starts cursing out loud.
Probably not a good idea given the context.
B immediately shuts him down, sternly. Jim, don't curse, they don't like that. And he gestures vaguely at the woods around them.
They, not it. Plural. Implying spirits.
Yeah. When James asks who are they, B later explains. He says, they are the spirits of people who got lost in these woods and couldn't leave.
Trapped spirits, okay.
And B says they play tricks on people they don't like or people who show disrespect to get them lost too, so their spirits join them.
Wow. That's a profound and chilling framework. It's not just ghosts, it's a whole ecosystem of spirits tied to the land with rules. Disrespect is dangerous.
Exactly. It's not just rude, it's like a cosmic offense. You could literally be taken by the land, become one of them, it elevates the whole thing beyond just being scared.
Deeply animistic worldview. The land itself is alive, populated. Fascinating.
And it doesn't stop there. The story splits, bringing in C's experience on the other side of the mountain, miles away. C, he's meticulous. He'd been leaving bundles of bear grass to mark his trail back, standard practice.
Smart, sensible.
But when he starts heading back for lunch, all his bundles are gone. Vanished. He's never been lost before. It felt deliberate, like a prank, but worse.
So something is actively messing with him.
Yeah. And C gets angry, frustrated, starts yelling curses, threats into the woods, directly violating B's warning, though he didn't know it.
Oh dear. That sounds like asking for trouble, according to B's beliefs.
Totally. So the sun starts going down, C's getting genuinely worried now. Lost in the redwoods after dark is bad news. Meanwhile, his wife's back at their camper miles away. She banged on a bucket for lunch, waited half an hour, no C. She's getting worried too. Just as she decides to go look for him, she hears a voice. Sounds exactly like C, saying, "Go back to the truck."
Vocal mimicry, that's incredibly creepy.
Right, and she knew instinctively it wasn't him, but she listened, went back to the truck, freaked her out completely, suggests something intelligent, manipulative.
Definitely able to exploit that close relationship, that trust in a familiar voice. Very unsettling. But what about the music? That shared experience.
Yes. This is maybe the strangest part. Both James on the north side and C miles away on the south side hear the exact same music. Distinct Hispanic music.
Simultaneously, from their trucks.
Yeah. Apparently so. Seeming to come from their respective trucks. Miles apart. How is that even possible?
That synchronization. It really complicates things. Is it telepathic projection? A localized hallucination induced by whatever they are? Or something bigger, manipulating sound across a huge area?
And the weird thing is, C, who's Buddhist, instinctively followed the music he heard, and it led him out of the woods.
So they torment him, get him lost, mimic his voice to scare his wife, but then guide him out with phantom music.
Bizarre, right? Like a cruel game. Or showing off their power, maybe.
Yeah.
Capable of both malice and this strange indirect help.
A complex entity, or entities then, not just simple malevolence.
The terror wasn't over, though. Day 2, James and B go back. Against their better judgment, really, but they needed the money.
Understandable pressure, but risky.
James is just thinking, totally silent, inside his own head. If I work fast, I won't have to come back here again. Just an internal thought.
Okay.
And right then, a deep, guttural, demonic-sounding voice right in front of him says out loud, "Good."
He responded to his thought.
That's what he says. An audible response to a silent thought. The violation of that inner privacy. Deeply unsettling.
That's beyond creepy. Telepathic interaction that suggests a profound level of awareness.
And later that day, another incident. B's sitting on a rock, smoking a cigarette. James looks over. He sees a bush next to B start to part, like someone's pushing it aside to look through.
Okay, visual anomaly again.
But then, James swears he watches B exhale smoke. And the smoke doesn't just dissipate, it gets visibly siphoned into the bush, like something invisible is inhaling it from a distance.
Siphoned, like a vacuum.
Yeah, like a slow motion wind tunnel effect, pulling the smoke directly into the bush. And B saw it too.
Physical manipulation of matter, the smoke, that escalates things significantly.
It really does, from sounds and sights to hearing thoughts and seeing smoke being actively manipulated.
It suggests an intelligence, an awareness, and even a degree of physical power from they that's way beyond simple tricks. That thought-reading aspect is particularly chilling. A total invasion of privacy.
The impact was clear. Neither James nor B ever went back to that mountain. They left bear grass behind, abandoned the income they needed.
Can't blame them. It highlights how these kinds of inexplicable events, especially when they tap into cultural fears and violate your sense of reality and self, can just permanently sever your connection to a place. It becomes forbidden territory, not because of bears, but because of something knowing and malevolent.
Okay, so we've seen how these forces might operate in vast natural spaces shaped by folklore. Now we pull indoors, into man-made structures, where the inexplicable doesn't just lurk outside, it invades, it defies physics within supposedly controlled environments. We shift to an old ski resort during a blizzard. This is Milano's story. He was a maintenance worker, first winter there, mostly night shift.
Quiet job, usually.
Yeah.
Checking equipment, waiting for morning.
Exactly, lonely. But this night, a blizzard rolls in unexpectedly. Howling winds, piling snow. The resort's pretty isolated. Around midnight, a guest, the only one on their floor, apparently complains to Sarah at the front desk. Noise coming from an empty room. 3rd floor. Room 309.
An empty room on a closed floor during a blizzard. Already sounds like a setup.
Totally. The third floor was closed for renovations, hadn't been used in years. No new guests checking in because of the storm. So Mileno heads up. Creaking stairs, deserted building. As he gets higher, the hallway lights start flickering erratically. Jumpy shadows.
Classic horror movie vibes.
Right. Just tries to rationalize it, old building, storm affecting power, whatever. But the higher he goes, the colder it gets. An intense, unnatural cold. Goosebumps, even bundled up indoors.
That sudden, localized cold spot is a common element in these accounts.
Yeah. He gets to room 309. The door is slightly ajar, which is weird in itself, right? Guests shouldn't even be up there, let alone find a door open.
Definitely not right. Adds to the unease.
He pushes it open tentatively, shines his flashlight inside, steps in, and the cold hits him even harder.
Okay, so what did he find inside? This is crucial.
The room's dark, dusty. Bed, desk, wardrobe. But then he sees them in the flashlight beam, footprints. In the thick dust on the floor.
Footprints. Whose?
Small ones, like a child's. And they lead from the wardrobe straight to the window. And just stop.
Stopped at the window, he checked it.
Immediately. Shines his light right on it, expecting a broken latch maybe, but no. Window's frosted over, completely untouched from the inside. No sign of forced entry. No way anyone came through there.
So impossible entry. Okay, what else?
Driven by this growing dread, he opens the wardrobe, and inside, on the floor of the wardrobe, more footprints. Same size. Leading directly into the solid back wall of the wardrobe.
Into the wall, not stopping at it, but going in.
That's what he says. Into the solid wood. No secret door, no panel, nothing. Just into the wall. An impossible physical anomaly. A total violation of, well, everything.
That's not just a ghost passing through. That's physical evidence of something defying solidity. That's deeply disturbing.
Yeah, and it escalates. Fast. His mind's racing, trying to make sense of it, knowing it's impossible. He steps back from the wardrobe. The door slams shut behind him, loud.
Trapping him inside.
Exactly. He spins around, heart pounding, yanks on the handle, won't budge. Locked solid, like the storm or something else sealed him in.
Okay, that's terrifying. Trapped with whatever made the footprints.
He calls out, voice cracking, but the sound just dies in the room. Then, corner of his eye, he sees movement. The footprints in the dust, they aren't still anymore. The dust around them starts to shift. Slowly. Like someone invisible is walking. Towards him.
Oh no. He could see them moving.
He says he saw the dust moving, heard this faint, soft patter of feet. He backs up against the wardrobe, pressed against the wood, pulse hammering. His flashlight flickers wildly. Then the shifting footprints just stop. A few feet in front of him. As if whatever it was is standing right there, staring.
An unseen presence. Palpable.
Yeah, he said the air felt thick, heavy, like the room itself couldn't take the pressure.
Wow, that intense psychological pressure combined with the undeniable physical weirdness.
It's a powerful demonstration of that impact, being faced with something physically impossible in a normal space. The footprints into the wall, that's what parapsychologists might call physical haunting evidence. Harder to dismiss than just a feeling or a sound.
Absolutely. It directly challenges your fundamental grasp of reality. Space, matter. None of it works like it should.
The lack of any rational out, plus the cold, the door slam, the moving prints, the feeling of being watched, it creates this intense, visceral fear.
How did he get out?
He eventually fumbled the handle, wrenched the door open, and just bolted. Ran straight down to the lobby, totally shaken.
In the room.
Room 309 stayed locked after that, a permanent testament to whatever happened in there. Which raises that question, doesn't it? What do you do with places like that? Places that just feel fundamentally wrong, that violate reality? How do you process that?
You often don't. You just avoid them, seal them off. Acknowledge that some places hold things we can't explain or contain.
Okay, from a creepy hotel room to something even more personal, more invasive. Our next dive takes us to a domestic setting, a home, a workshop. Ray's story. He's a pit bull breeder outside Springfield, Missouri.
Okay, so someone dealing with animals, life, birth, grounded in biology.
Very grounded. Blue nose pits are his specialty. It started as a hobby, became a side business alongside his construction company. Dogs are his passion. Last October, his prize female, Sadie, had her third litter. Everything went smoothly. 3 healthy pups, 2 males, 1 female. Duke, Diesel, Daisy, typical blue-gray coats.
All normal so far.
He keeps the litters in a special heated, climate-controlled area in his workshop. Security cameras, the whole setup. For safety and records, first week, totally normal, pups thriving, said he's a good mom. Then early second week, day 8 maybe, Ray goes in for the morning check, expects 3 pups, stops cold. There are 4 puppies emerging.
Just appeared.
Yeah. His first thought is, did I miscount? But no, he knew. He recorded the birth only 3. This 4th puppy, it just wasn't there before.
Okay, that's immediately impossible. Where did it come from?
No idea. And it looked wrong, too. He calls it Shadow. His pits are blue-gray. This one was almost flat black, like wet soil. Same size, roughly, but the proportions felt off. Head too big, legs too long. Unsettling, undog-like.
Subtle physical differences.
But the eyes were the real shocker. Fully open, alert, deep amber color. Puppies' eyes don't open till 10-14 days, usually. These were wide open, watching him, way too early. And it felt cool to the touch, he said. Almost reptilian.
Wow. Open eyes that early, the color, the temperature. Multiple biological anomalies right there.
Exactly. This is deeply disturbing because Ray is experienced. Practical, he knows dogs. This is impossible.
What did you do? Check for a chip. Someone tranked him.
Checked for a chip, nothing. Thought maybe someone snuck it in, crazy as that sounds. So his next step, security cameras.
Yeah.
He watched the footage frame by frame. Nothing. No break-in. No one entering. 1 frame, 3 puppies. The very next frame, Shadow is just there, nestled with the others like it materialized out of thin air.
Materialized that defies, well, everything. Conservation mass, biology.
Totally. It's a key piece of data. He struggled to rationalize it, tried every logical explanation, even took it to his vet.
What did the vet say?
Vet confirmed the early eye-opening, the strange awareness, but no medical explanation for how it got there. It's like spontaneous generation, but of a puppy. A deeply unsettling one. And Shadow's development just kept getting weirder, deviated dramatically from the others.
How so?
Moved stiffly at first, then almost too smoothly. Unnaturally graceful, robotic almost. Vet said joints were fine. And the silence.
Silent. Never made a sound.
Never. No yips, no barks, no whines. Just silent, watchful. Didn't seem to sleep much either. Often found awake at night, staring at the door, waiting.
Creepy. And how did it grow?
By week 3, still lean, muzzle a bit too long, but incredibly coordinated, not clumsy like normal pups. And the mother dog, Sadie.
Ah, the mother's instinct. What did she do?
She sensed something was deeply wrong. She nursed it, yes, but that was it. Never cleaned it, never played with it. And she'd intentionally position her body between Shadow and her other 3 pups when they slept. Protective barrier.
That's incredibly telling. Animals often react to things we dismiss. Her behavior screams danger, unnatural.
Ray knew it too. He knew that, look, that behavior in an animal sensing something profoundly wrong. Then things escalated.
How?
Small, unexplained injuries started appearing on the other puppies overnight. Scratches, little nips. Ray got worried, installed a better night vision camera. What he saw was chilling. Shadow, pacing, perfect, measured circles around Sadie and the sleeping litter. Not random wandering. Precise, deliberate, like a ritual.
Pacing circles. That's bizarre.
He watched for an hour. Shadow just kept doing it. Then it stopped, sat down, and stared directly at the camera lens, as if it knew he was watching, staring right at him.
Conscious awareness of being observed. And defiance.
Seems like it. He tried separating Shadow, put it in a secure kennel across the workshop, locked it. Next morning, Shadow was back at the litter. Kennel door still locked from the inside.
It got out of a locked kennel. Okay, this thing isn't just weird. It's actively defying physical barriers. Possesses some kind of intelligence and will. Malevolent will, it sounds like.
That's how it felt to Ray. By week 4, the other pups were sickly, lethargic, not growing right. Shadow, though, grown considerably. Almost twice the size it should be.
Unnatural growth rate, too.
Yeah. Coat got oily, iridescent. Those amber eyes darkened, turned reddish. Glowing, he said, menacingly.
This is getting really dark.
Ray, deeply worried, moves the whole litter into the house. Spare bedroom. Hoping to watch closer, maybe separate Shadow for good.
Makes sense. Keep them close.
First night in the house, Sadie keeps growling low, anxious. Wakes Ray up. Each time, Shadow's awake, staring at Sadie, hackles raised, challenging her. Night 2. Ray's jolted awake by this sound from the spare room. Low. Horrible. Not a growl, he said. Something guttural. Awful. Non-canine.
Oh, God.
He rushes to the room. Tries the light, it won't turn on tonight. In the dim light, he sees Sadie cowering under the bed with Duke and Daisy, trembling. In the middle of the room. Diesel and Shadow. Shadow has Diesel pinned down, standing over him. Ray enters. Shadow turns its head, looks right at him. Eyes like burning hot coals, he said. Pure malevolence. Ray grabs a baseball bat he kept nearby, lunges not to hit, just to scare it. But Shadow moves impossibly fast, runs between his legs, gone in a flash, out into the hall.
Incredible speed, unnatural agility.
He slams the door shut, checks Diesel. Alive, but barely. Puncture wound on his neck, rushes him to the emergency vet.
Did he make it?
No, Diesel died on the way. The vet looked at the wound, said it looked like a bite, sure, but then added, bewildered, not like a bite wound from a dog. The marks didn't match.
Not dog bites. What then?
Exactly. What was this thing? Its impossible appearance, unnatural growth, silence, defiance of locks, the non-dog bites. It pushes way beyond biology. Suggests something else entirely. Something that could manifest, inflict physical harm, kill.
A truly invasive, malevolent entity. What happened to Shadow?
When Ray got home, heartbroken, exhausted, Shadow was gone, vanished. He searched everywhere. House, workshop, property, all doors and windows still locked from the inside. Just gone.
Disappeared as mysteriously as it arrived.
Yeah. The fear lingered, though, deeply. Ray installed more cameras, motion lights, slept with Sadi and the other pups in his room for months.
Understandable trauma.
And twice after that, he swears he saw a black dog figure lurking around his house, watching. Sadi was permanently traumatized, never bright again. It wasn't just weird, it was destructive. An entity that actively terrorized and killed.
Our final deep dive really gets into this idea of residual darkness, how something might cling to objects, especially things that were once alive. We enter the world of taxidermy.
A profession literally bridging life and death, preserving that semblance. Interesting context.
This is Tim's story. He's a professional taxidermist in Nebraska doing it for over 2 decades. Took over the family business young, worked with all sorts of animals. It's solitary work, meticulous, which suited him after his wife Elizabeth died tragically in a car accident years prior. The house felt too quiet, so the workshop became his refuge.
Immersing himself in the work as a coping mechanism. Exactly. So September 2020, he gets a commission. Mr. Whelan, not a regular, just passing through from Wyoming after a hunting trip, brings in an 8-point buck. Nice specimen, clean kill, should be straightforward. But Whelan says something odd as he drops it off, with this weird glint in his eye. He says, "This one's special, though. Got him at sunset, last day. Never seen a deer move the way this one did." Cryptic.
Foreshadowing, perhaps, sets an uneasy tone.
Right from the start, Tim brings the deer into his workshop, puts it on the bench, and immediately he feels like the dead animal's glassy eyes are following him. He gets this sudden, chilling feeling, like he just opened a door to some place I was not meant to be.
Wow. Coming from a seasoned taxidermist who handles dead animals daily, that immediate visceral reaction is significant. It suggests something truly off about this specific deer.
He described a sudden awareness, the workshop feeling darker the moment he started working on it, pulling the skin from the skull.
That initial unease before anything concrete happens sets the stage. It taps into that idea of residual energy, doesn't it? Can something, a spirit, an imprint, a malevolence cling to organic remains, especially after a unique or maybe traumatic death?
It certainly seems like that's what starts to happen here. The haunting progressed in phases, each one stranger.
Okay, what was the first phase?
That night, Tim's exhausted, goes to sleep, wakes up middle of the night, buzzing sound, not one fly, hundreds, thousands.
Flies. Oh, that's a classic bad omen. Infestation symbolism.
His room is filled, covering walls, ceiling, dresser mirror, even crawling on a framed photo of his late wife.
That's horrible. Personal violation too, the photo.
He freaks out, jumps out of bed, swatting them. They swarm him. He spends like an hour sweeping them out, heart pounding, utter chaos. But the next morning, exhausted, dreading the cleanup, everything's clean. Not a single dead fly, no trace. He knows he didn't get them all, but they're just gone.
Impossible disappearance. Like the swarm itself was an illusion, yet he physically interacted with it. That makes a dream explanation really hard to swallow. It suggests active manipulation of reality.
Right.
A direct assault.
Exactly. So the next night, he wakes up again, not flies this time, sounds, hooves.
Hooves. Inside the house.
Distinct clopping sound. Clop! Clopping, echoing down the hallway outside his bedroom. Slow, deliberate pacing.
Oh, that's incredibly chilling.
Yeah.
Directly referencing the deer.
He's petrified, lies there listening, heart pounding. The sound stops. Right outside his door, he doesn't move. Clock reads 3:14 a.m., the witching hour, right?
Often cited, yes. A time of supposed thinning veils.
Right then, the doorknob starts to turn. Slowly, agonizingly slow. He watches it happen. It turns fully. The door cracks open a few inches, reveals just pitched blackness. And from that darkness, the sound of wet, heavy breathing, like a large animal, right there.
Inches away. That proximity is terrifying.
He finally reacts, tackles his lamp, switches it on, light floods the hall, nothing. Empty, searches the whole house, nothing's out of place, it's gone again.
From visual infestation to auditory and implied presence. Much more intimate, much more menacing. Targeting his sense of safety in his own bedroom. It feels like stalking. Intelligent, deliberate torment.
The absolute worst part, the turning point for Tim, came when he actually started working on the hide itself.
Getting physically close to the source.
Yeah. Next morning, checks the workshop, hide's just there, inert. He tries to treat it like any other job, focus on the mechanics, hoping to dispel the creepiness. Pulls it from the fridge. But as he starts cutting, preparing it, it just felt wrong, like I was cutting something that was still alive, he said.
Visceral. Primal revulsion, almost.
Twice, he swears he felt the skin twitch under his knife. Impossible, right? Preserved hide.
Completely impossible suggests animation, residual life.
And once he thought he heard a low moan, guttural, coming from the skin, like pain.
Okay, that's crossing a serious line. Auditory and tactile hallucinations or something else.
He takes a break, coffee, tries to shake it off, finishes the initial trimming, comes back from lunch, and his stomach just churns. There's fresh blood dripping from the hide onto the floor. A small pool. It wasn't there when he took it out of the fridge.
Fresh blood from a preserved hide. That's undeniable. Physical proof that something is fundamentally wrong with this thing.
That was it for him. The final straw. He couldn't continue. Called Mr. Whelan immediately, left a message saying he couldn't do the job. A huge deal for him professionally, but he knew he had to get rid of it.
That direct interaction with the hide, the source, is critical. Twitching, moaning, bleeding. It's no longer a general haunting. It's intrinsically linked to the deer's remains. It suggests an active, malevolent force residing within the object itself, or using it as a focus. He had to break that connection.
And the climax.
Yeah.
That same night, Tim's shaken, double locks everything, chairs under doorknobs, tries to sleep, wakes up again middle of the night.
Of course, it wasn't over yet.
His bedroom isn't empty this time. It's dark, but he sees it clearly. A figure, standing at the foot of his bed.
Oh no, the full manifestation.
Towering silhouette, blacker than the dark, gaunt, tall body like a man, but the head of a deer. Full antlers scraping the ceiling, breathing loudly that same wet, heavy sound from the hall.
The deer man entity.
Yeah.
Terrifying fusion.
He's paralyzed with terror, can't scream. The figure takes a slow step towards him. Tim lunges, hits the lamp switch. Light floods the room. Figure's gone, vanished instantly.
Gone with the light again. But the image is burned into his mind, surely.
He scrambled out of bed, checked everywhere like a terrified kid. Nothing, it was gone.
That final, terrifying visual. The ultimate horror made manifest in his most vulnerable space. It explains his next actions completely.
Absolutely. He didn't wait. Packed the hide, got in his truck and drove 6 straight hours to Wyoming. Didn't stop except for gas and coffee. Drove right to Whelan's address, left the hide on the porch with a note, and drove back. Didn't even wait to see him.
A ritualistic return. Ridding himself of the cursed object, taking extreme measures to restore his reality, his safety. It underscores that feeling that some things are just wrong. Not meant to be disturbed, not meant to be brought back. Even as taxidermy, tampering has consequences.
He didn't do any taxidermy for months after that, but eventually went back, and nothing strange ever happened again.
Strongly suggesting the haunting was tied directly to that specific deer hide. Returning it was the exorcism in a way. A chilling tale of a malevolent object.
Wow. Okay, we have taken a truly deep dive into 5 extraordinary accounts today. We went from possibly mythical figures in South Korean forests
No, which should judge you?
to those unsettling spirits in the redwoods, then invasive presences in a ski resort, that demonic puppy, frankly.
Shadow. Still gives me chills.
And finally, haunted taxidermy. What really stands out to you across all these stories? Are there common threads you see?
Well, what's truly fascinating, I think, beyond the sheer terror in each one, is that, look, we can't offer neat scientific explanations for these specific events as they're told. We just can't. But the human experience of the inexplicable, that's universal. These stories, whether it's a witch, forest spirits, a thing in a room, a monstrous puppy, a haunted hide, they consistently force us to bump up against the limits of our understanding, the boundaries of the natural world as we think we know it.
Yeah, they really push those boundaries hard.
They really do. And they highlight how, our minds are pretty resilient. We try so hard to find explanations, to fit anomalies into boxes, but they also show how vulnerable we are to true anomaly, events that just break the framework, things that can't be reconciled with physics, biology, space, time.
Things that just shouldn't happen.
Exactly. And whether you lean towards supernatural explanations or unique psychological states triggered by stress or environment, or maybe the power of cultural belief and suggestion, regardless of the why, these accounts compel us to consider that reality might just be far more complex, more layered, maybe infinitely stranger than our day-to-day lives let on.
It definitely makes the world feel bigger.
Yeah.
And maybe a bit scarier.
These narratives remind us there's always more out there, more to learn, more to explore, that the world holds mysteries, often just lingering, just beyond the edge of what we normally perceive, in places we think are safe or places we think we understand. They're not just scary stories. They stretch our idea of what's possible.
So, thinking about all this, what does it mean for you listening right now? If even a fraction of what these individuals experienced is real, if forces exist that can bend or break our physical laws, what does that imply about life? About death? Consciousness? The very fabric of the world we navigate every day. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What unseen forces, what other layers of reality might be out there just beyond our senses? Something to maybe ponder on your next walk in the woods, or perhaps your next quiet night at home, when the shadows seem just a little too deep and the silence feels like it's holding its breath.
M5D UFO Files. Unraveling the UFO Files. Revelations that change everything. The Multiverse 5D podcast on Spotify is evolving, and now expanding its legacy to YouTube. Get ready for a new kind of talk show, one that blends mystery, deep knowledge, and bold debates. This is the M5D Network. A new era of content is about to begin, coming soon to YouTube.